Those.
Excited?
Yeah, I am excited.
I'm gonna. You should just sit here and interview with me. Well, this one will be interesting because the last two I've like been friends, and so I know like
you know the story.
It was easier. This one makes me more anxious because Caitlin and I don't really know each other at all. And
she's crazy. I mean, she's crazy, and I'm only in for the Christmas party, so I mean, that's all you see me.
So I'm hoping
she says like a lot of wild things, like really. I would just
really?
just like be aware of what could come out. Yep.
Well, she was like super unpredictable. Lots of but no, I think that this one should be pretty like laid back. I'm really interested in getting to know you and your relationship, and I think that the other conversations we've had have really been more about life and balance and not really kind of super process driven or results focused. So, I would like to, first of all, we should probably say, this is Kasten, and this is Liz, Coach Liz.
Marcil. Yeah. Everyone says Marcil, so you would be in the norm if you did that.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. We struggle with the same problems. Yes.
Caitlin and Kasten, I'm pronouncing that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And Caitlin she's gonna be a rising senior at Marvin Ridge.
Yes.
In Waxhaw, and Marvin at Sun.
Yeah.
But she's already committed to North Carolina to run in 2027, which is super exciting. This has been coaching her for, you have to fill in the blank.
Oh gosh, 3 years now? 3 full years. Yeah. We started your freshman year after cross country season, kind of November, December timeframe, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And so we'll kind of I'll say that, you can help me out with this too. I think you were my newspaper's indoor track athlete of the year last year. Right?
Okay.
Is that right?
Try observer indoor track. So.
You think so? I know.
I know.
If that had been me, it would have been like I would post on Instagram about 7 times. And just the New Balance Nationals, right? We'll talk a little bit about that. But I think the kind of like going to run for North Carolina speaks for itself. And so we'll talk some about that too. But I think that that's right. Hey Ryan.
What?
Oh, there he is. Hey Ryan.
Aw.
But hopefully it's going to be, I think, pretty informal and casual. I do have like this very important looking set of notes that I might refer to once in a while. But I think that we're just mostly going to, like I said, kind of get to know you and your relationship. I do want to talk about like kind of what it's like to, be committed to a program like that for 4 years and kind of expectations and pressure and stuff like that. I think I find that really interesting, and hopefully Liz can help sort of navigate what it's like to coach somebody who has expectations and pressure. But anyway, I think maybe we'll start with just like what led you to running?
That's
that's the question. How did you get into running?
Yeah, so I played kind of every sport throughout elementary school and even in middle school. So swim, softball was kind of my main one, and I was a pitcher in softball, but I was not that good at it. So I was like, okay, what do I like about this sport? If I can't pitch, what else would I want to do? And I liked running the bases, which no one else did. No one else liked the conditioning or the running or anything. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just actually run for my sport. And so then my mom signed me up for Fit 180. And I did cross country in 6th grade and ended up loving it. So I did both cross country and softball for a little bit. And I was like, I'm not doing softball anymore. So then started running fully.
You'll have to tell me what Fit 180 is.
Fit 180, my high school coach owned that program. And so it was just middle school, and she had a really good group of girls. I think we won most of the races throughout middle school, and a bunch of them went on to be collegiate athletes too. So I did that for 6th and 7th grade.
Okay. And so you did multiple sports for a little while.
Yes, and I continued doing multiple sports in middle school too.
Okay. At what point did you stop doing multiple sports?
9th grade, went exclusively to running. Did swim and basketball all throughout middle school as well.
Was that like how conscious a decision was that, and how hard a decision was that to let go of sports?
Running was definitely my strongest sport, so just kind of being competitive and wanting to do what I'm good at. I was like, it's okay, just stick to running.
And at that point, how serious were you about it, in the sense that, both how much did you enjoy doing it, but also what was your kind of skill level at that point?
I wasn't the strongest middle school runner. There were definitely, I didn't win all the races or anything. And so I would say there wasn't a ton of pressure or anything. It was just kind of for fun. And I was surrounded by some really, really talented middle school runners. And I just kind of accepted, they're just kind of better than me right now. So, but I was still having fun. I really liked my team. And yeah, so going to high school, really no expectations at all, which was really nice. And I think that helped me find success.
Mm-hmm. Did you actually like the act of running? Or, because obviously, when you're in high school and you join a team, there's a big social element to it, and that's a part of what keeps people engaged in the sport. But when you think about all of that kind of melting away, and you're just out there running, training, or racing, and maybe not with others, what was it that did it for you, basically?
Yeah, when I was running, actually kind of dying, I would say I didn't like it, but whenever I was done, it was my favorite thing. I was like, okay, I want to do this again. I can keep doing this. And yeah, I think nothing can beat the feeling of being done with the race or a workout, even now, honestly. But that's kind of what kept me going.
Yeah, we all agree with that. So tell me how you ended up connecting with Liz.
Yeah.
What made you feel like that was something you needed beyond what you were getting out of your high school coach?
Yeah, just having a team, I found a lot of success cross country season. And so a high school coach can't do everything for one person. So I thought maybe needed a little bit extra help and guidance, just kind of specifically. And I knew that I wanted to try out steeplechase. And so we found Phil Now Coaching and saw that Liz was a really good steepler. So we were like, okay, this would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Coach.
Yes.
What do you remember about meeting her for the first time and kind of sort of assessing her potential and what kind of help that you could give her?
Yeah, I definitely remember when we first started working together, or we first met.
Was that crepe place in Matthews?
Or was it?
Oh yes, that Royal Creperie or whatever in Matthews. I remember the table we sat at. Yes, that's so funny. Yeah, that was delicious. I knew she was very talented right away because of the times she had run already. Did not know how talented she was to what she's already accomplished so far in high school in a couple of years. But I could tell she kind of had been just a little frustrated with the end of her cross country season, how it had ended, and just was looking for ways to kind of try to redirect. And like you said, just get some outside input to go with what you were getting with high school to kind of put all the pieces together and get you going in a positive direction into track season. So yeah, I mean, I can't even remember all of your, I think you'd already run in the 17s in your freshman year. Yeah. So that's very good for a freshman. So I knew that there was a lot of potential, but then there's so many variables. One of the things we, I think, talked about early on was getting your iron checked and all of that kind of stuff that sometimes high school coaches aren't aware of, kind of just the different ways that your health and nutrition and all the pieces that play into running outside of just like what you do at practice every day. And so I feel like that's where we can help a lot, is just offering a more well-rounded picture of like, here are the other things we need, all the things we need to be thinking about to really kind of maximize on your potential. And being a freshman in high school, when I was a freshman in high school, I didn't know hardly anything. You don't know a lot. So it's like a great place to start working with someone to start educating like a little bit at a time on some of those pieces. And I feel like we started with some of those early to just kind of make sure your health was in the right place and that your foundation was good to build on the talent that you could clearly see just based on the time she'd already run. So I knew definitely right away that she had a lot of potential, but she has exceeded my potential, I'll say, or my expectations of her potential in the last few years. And she's still got one more year of high school ahead of her. So pretty exciting stuff. She's run very fast.
You mentioned frustration at the end of the season. What can you tell me a little bit more about?
Hey, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So just first time like doing the 5K and everything. The end of the season, just like couldn't finish races very well and was really tired and just didn't know what was going on. It was really frustrating. And even practices started to feel just heavy and was kind of done. I was like, maybe I'm just mentally not pushing through. I'm like, am I not working hard enough? And I think like in the moment, it was really, really hard. And I didn't realize that, I mean, freshman year is hard for anyone, just trying to last that long. And until looking back, I don't think I realized, like, you're young, that it's okay to not make it. I even had a frustrating past junior cross country season end. So I think it can happen to anyone, but just kind of knowing your body. And I think giving yourself some grace, like, it's okay. And so looking back on that, I think. Yeah.
But I think kind of like looking at like how long the season is, that's something that I think you don't really know till you're in it, and how to manage like the summer training and the intensity of what you're doing over the summer. And a lot of high school kids tend to start their season like guns blazing, like I need to be PRing and showing that I'm going to make like the Nike Cross Nationals or Foot Locker Nationals in like the first invitational meet of the season at the end of August or first weekend of September, when it really is like you're racing all of September, all of October, and into November for some of the more elite races. And for the high schoolers, they race more frequently. Sometimes it's multiple times a week. It's not always just Saturdays. And so it's a lot of races, and it can be kind of just like mentally and physically tiring when you're not really used to it. It's different than middle school. And then I think a lot of people kind of overemphasize the summer training to really be ready to go in the beginning part of September. And we've talked a lot about in the past few years, and we'll continue to this year going into her senior year, of like the summer is like your base building, your mental break from racing. It's your time to just really like enjoy what you're doing and not be kind of take a break from the pressure and the mental stress of trying to hit certain splits and workouts that you're doing all year long, because you've got cross country season, you have indoor track season and outdoor track season. So there's a lot of races every week. You're showing up multiple times a week trying to hit certain paces and workouts, and it's not going to all be perfect all the time. We've talked about that a lot. You know, you're gonna have tired days, things outside of running like school and family life and other stresses that may affect your sleep, and you get sick and you never know what's coming. So it's kind of like summer is a great time to really just kind of take a mental debrief, like a break from that repetition that is kind of there for most of the rest of the year. So I think probably some of that was in play your freshman year, and it's like a constant figuring it out cycle. Like she didn't end her junior year cross country season where she wanted to, and we're hoping that you get to do that with your senior year. The great news is you have one more year. You know, she totally did at the end of track season in indoor and outdoor, kind of put all the pieces together at the right time at the end of the season to accomplish really her highest goals in track. And we've still got one more cross country season where we get to do that. So I feel like that was kind of where I feel like it all started, was sort of just like, let's take a step back, look at the big picture, talk more about like the whole year of training and what we need to do to really be ready to go at the end of each season for the big meets. And like, what are the things we need to do to talk about with that? So kind of, I feel like we did when we first started working together. We were like, let's just take a break from racing. We said that I don't even, you didn't race much that indoor season at all.
No.
Maybe not at all. Yeah.
Freshman year.
Yeah. Because that's what you needed to do. We really just needed to like get some good workouts in, start building. I don't think you've done a ton of like threshold works up to that point. And so we sort of said, let's like really start incorporating that into your regular training, get your mileage kind of stable. And so we started like just getting a good base building. That's what we used the winter for, to kind of build for that track season. And then that worked really well for your track season, I feel like.
I think knowing when to take breaks and when to stop pushing yourself has become something that I've learned. And I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Was it, to the sort of disappointing end to your freshman season and your junior season, was there a difference in how it felt to carry that frustration 2 years later, being 2 years older? Was it like easier in some ways, or was it harder in some ways because as a junior, expectations are maybe higher?
Yeah,
right?
Junior year was definitely harder because I thought, looking back on freshman year, that I'd kind of figured it out, or cracked the code, if you will, of kind of like, okay, just push your season back and you'll be fine. And so then when I kind of started falling apart again, I was like, what's going on? I thought, I've already had this happen. I had a good sophomore year. And so I was like, just going to keep building and improving. And so that was definitely really frustrating and really didn't know what was going on. And being part of a new team, I was like, can't take a break. I need to show up for them at States and NXR. And then obviously college recruiting, that's kind of when it all peaks. So it wasn't a great time. It was definitely really hard, but taking a break, I think go back to just taking a break. I took a couple weeks off, and before getting back into it, just kind of to mentally clear up. And yeah, so I think just stepping away for a little bit was good.
Well, I was going to coach.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, because you've coached both like people like me and Brian, and also obviously a lot of deep experience coaching young people. What is the difference between how you deal with someone is not performing the way they want to, like someone like me, and dealing with someone who's younger? Is it different?
That's a good question. I feel like there's a lot of similarities. I feel like you always just want to like take a step back and look at the big picture and kind of try to figure out what's going on. And Kelly and the rest of the coaching staff is always great about, we always kind of like put our heads together on, are we like thinking of everything, especially just health wise and with your body? Is there anything obvious going on that we haven't thought about? And then, yeah, it's just really, I feel like a couple of differences are like, adults like that are, in the real world, so to speak, have maybe like different stresses and things pulling at them, and time restraints, like a job that they're doing all day and family obligations and like that kind of stuff. So I feel like sometimes their stresses or issues or conflicts might be different than what a high schooler might be dealing with. But not to say high school isn't as stressful, because actually I think it could even be more stressful. I think junior year in high school is probably one of the most stressful years for really anyone. It's like so much going on and so many expectations and so much to do, and they're working very long hours at doing lots of hard things. I feel like one difference is just even physically growing. Like we talked about that a lot with Caitlin. She's continuing to grow taller still. So that we think could have even played into some of the cross country like races that didn't end up the way that she wanted to, because her body was just kind of not really cooperating, and she's been hitting some major growth spurts, and that's not so much happening with someone who's fully grown is a 30 or 40 or 50-year-old. So I feel like you have to be thinking about those kinds of things too with a younger athlete. But I mean, a lot of times, like you've talked about, like the pressure and expectations, I feel like when an athlete starts to train and get good at something, there's like this fun in it of like, oh, wow, this is a cool new thing and I like it and it's easy and it's fun and I'm doing better every time I race. And then there's usually a point in time where it's like, oh, actually now this is hard again, and where I have more expectation and I'm like, now I really want a PR every time I race, because that's what I've been doing for the last year or two. Or, you just have these expectations that can then create pressure. And that I think happens to all the ages and phases. So I experienced it myself when I ran in high school and college. I've coached it in all the levels. So that's definitely a variable for everybody. When you kind of hit that point, then you kind of have to say, okay, now there's a mental element of like, how are we going to learn how to handle pressure on race day and practice that at practice and that kind of thing. So I feel like there's definitely some differences and some similarities for kind of everybody that you can take away.
It's an interesting shift, like, because it happens for whatever you want to call it, grown-ups. But sorry.
Don't become a grown-up and stay as not a grown-up as long as possible.
But yeah, for someone who like there are
More
people
seasoned.
who struggle trying to qualify for Boston, right?
Yeah.
And then they get there. And
There we go. That is go that.
struggle for a long time to qualify for Boston.
Uh-huh.
And then they get there and then like it becomes easy and they qualify every year. So to go from like you hope to do well in a race to you're kind of expected to do well in a race, that requires like this mental shift. Can you talk about a little bit the kind of going from like, oh, she really has potential to she should be meeting the potential? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that was a shift from middle school to high school. Because middle school, 8th grade was the first time where I would say I was actually running full time more so. And so then every race I was like, oh, it was another PR. And it was an expectation, but it also just kind of happened. And so it was just kind of fun. And it's like, oh, I'm getting better each time. I'm not the best, but still improving for myself. And no one's watching, no one cares. And then freshman year was kind of similar, just every race, 5K for the first time was a PR, obviously till the end of the season. And that was kind of kick in the face. I was like, what happened? Like, should just be getting better, especially as the meets got more important, if you will, with trying to qualify for nationals. So just kind of having that difficulty, like for the first time, I would say, with the bigger meets was kind of like, oh, what's going on? And I think that made it even harder. And then sophomore year came in a little bit freer. Like I had some expectations, but I was like, I didn't end very well. So you can just keep doing what you're doing. And saw some PRs, almost made it to nationals. I was off 2 spots, sadly. And then junior year, I think with a new team and kind of the expectation of needing to help the team and being one of the strongest, along with college recruiting, was definitely an added pressure. And so after having a good sophomore year, just hoping to build off of that. So again, kind of the expectation instead of more of the fun of just PRing and it being easy. So I think it's not always like linear. I wouldn't say like it's always pressure always builds. I think it can come and go. And that's what's kind of hard about it too, is you don't always know when it's gonna show up, because I've been some of the most nervous for these random like little meets. And I'm like, what's going on? And then for some of the nationals, I'm like, okay, I'm chill. I got this. So I think just the unpredictability of it makes it difficult.
Yeah, the only parallel I can think of for like, what do we call it? Amateur athletes?
Amateur age groupers.
Is, when you're being tracked in a race, right? It's like, I know people are watching, so that puts some pressure on you. And I don't know, in some ways, maybe it's like good. Maybe it makes you do better. It makes you push harder. But in other ways, I don't know. Some people, it's probably mentally, it makes it hard because they have that pressure, and instead of responding to it in a positive way, like breaks them or something. But so how much do you spend with, well, and another thing I wanted to ask before I forget, because I meant to ask it before, was you're basically coaching for a lot of these high school athletes, like on top of their regular practices that are attached to the school team. How do you like keep them from getting burned out because they're doing extra? And and the other part of the question, I guess, is how much life coaching do you have to do? High school athletes.
Yeah, I'd say every situation is very different. So that's where it's like, I can speak to kind of what we've done with Caitlin, but it's sort of just assessing like what the needs are and what they are doing, because all the high school programs are very different, and like some of them are super high mileage and very structured strength training and you're doing more like race strategy prep talk and kind of reviewing what they're doing and making sure they're getting like it kind of in the right mileage zone. And then others, it's like really hands off, or maybe a coach who is present but hasn't had like specific distance running experience. Maybe they have more of a sprints background or coached another sport and they just happen to be the track coach. And so you can kind of like advise a little bit more on here's a thought for a workout you could do a couple times a week, in kind of reviewing their mileage. So I think for Caitlin, it was a little bit more that situation of it can be tricky to navigate and it has to like be a good setup to work well. And I think for Caitlin's situation, it worked well because she kind of took responsibility and was a good communicator. You have to be like a good communicator with both with tell me what she's doing and then kind of have her other coaches know what she's doing. So you don't do too much, you're doing the right stuff at the right time, and that kind of thing. So everything's on apps these days, right? So it's like they've got high school apps so I can see what they're doing and she's uploading. It's like a lot of back and forth and kind of sharing information. But I'd say adding strength training is often a piece of what we do. And we've done a lot of that because a lot of high school programs maybe don't make that a part of they just have a limited windows of practice time. They don't have as much time to like get it all in during your 1.5 hours after school. So sometimes strength training kind of falls off the list. And so making sure she's doing all that stuff, that's going to really help her kind of elevate to the next level, getting the long runs in on the weekends. Sometimes they don't have as much guidance on what to do over the weekends. And then, yeah, race conversations, like making sure we're touching base on the important ones and have a good plan and like talk afterwards if it went well or didn't go well. It depends on, or if injuries come up, that's something we're always like wanting to be on top of and making sure we're making the right choices. Caitlin's been very resilient, knock on wood. But she's been very consistent with her training. So that hasn't been a major thing, but always trying to tell you to make sure you're telling me when there's little things going on. But and then like, yeah, life coaching. I feel like with Caitlin specifically, and I think it's good, like just to take a little bit at a time because there's just so much with running and life. There's a lot. So I've tried to like not just do, okay, this season, I think we're kind of capitalize on what's the word? I don't know. Good opportunities when it's like the right time that this might mean something to you. Like didn't have a great race and it could have been because of this. Like there was a couple track meets races that may have been nutrition related where she kind of crashed, hit a wall and body kind of like gave out on her a little bit. And I really think we weren't fueled correctly for some of those races. So that was a good time to like, let's focus on that for the next little bit. And they did a great job, like seeking outside counsel, not with Megan, right? Yeah. Megan Hovis, and brought her into the picture. So just educate a little bit. Some, freshman in high school, I knew nothing about nutrition when I was a freshman in high school. I still didn't know a lot when I was a freshman in college, but when you're running at such an elite level that Caitlin has gotten to, it's like, that's really, the sooner that you learn what you're putting in your body and how it can help you or hurt you, the better off you're going to be, because a lot of your competitors that she's racing with these national meets are like going to be pretty on top of their A game too. So we've definitely like kind of brought that into the picture a lot this past year, I would say. And yeah, I think that's kind of the life piece definitely comes in because she's been great sleeper. It's one of my favorite things about you. Goes to bed early, takes care of herself. Yeah. We've never really had to have long talks about that. So that's been good. And I feel like she always seems like she's not stressed out about a lot. I don't know. She keeps it all inside, but we haven't had a lot of talks about stress levels either. So I don't know how you managed your junior year so smoothly, but you really kind of did. So, yeah, I feel like just being opportunistic when it's the right time to talk about some of those things, because it can really has a new meaning when you're like, oh, I just felt how that felt to not finish for my body to shut down on me. Like, tell me more about nutrition and what do I need to know so that doesn't happen again, versus talking about it when you're a freshman and you don't even really know what it means to not be fueled right. So that's my 2 cents. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on that, but
I thought it was good when after each race we'd kind of pick 1 or 2 things that like went well or didn't go well, and so then readjusting for the next race, because races there can be multiple things that you don't do well, but that can be overwhelming. So just like picking one thing and then fixing it the next time and kind of seeing how that changes. And then if something else arises, then you pick that, and then hopefully they all come together eventually and have a good race.
How many hours of sleep do you get?
At least 9.
Oh my god.
You're a rock star.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
What time is your school start?
Um,
Can you get 9 during the school year?
yeah,
Really?
she did. Big sleeper.
Wow.
And she's a good student. I'm just going to throw that out there, okay? Because it's like she doesn't let grades fall apart. I don't know how. It's like this girl's a little stud over here. So she's not going to tell you that. But it's not like she just goes to bed and doesn't do her homework. So I don't know. She gets it done.
Kaylin, has there ever been a situation? Maybe there've been a lot. Maybe there've been none. Where what your coach has told you has been in conflict with what this has told you?
I wouldn't say it's been anything where it's
Good question.
there's been, I would say, like disagreement a little bit, but nothing like where the other side wasn't willing to listen.
More like on races, like what racing to do, or like in what workouts and training.
Kind of everything.
Yeah. Liz and your high school coach, they're not communicating. Probably.
Right.
Like you're the kind of the middle person, so I don't know if you've ever felt like you've been in an awkward situation because your coach is telling you something. Your high school coach is telling you something that is in conflict with something, and then how do you deal with it?
It's
Because
probably easier after we had the meeting with him for your at Covenant Day.
Oh,
Remember we met with him?
yes.
Oh, you
I
did?
switched schools also.
Yeah, she
So
did.
I've
So
had,
she
like,
started
two-
it? Yeah. Yeah, we should probably do a little more background on that.
Yeah, so I switched schools junior year. Went from Covenant Day to Marvin Ridge. So
So two
different-
very different experiences, which you should probably touch on. Yeah.
So Covenant Day was definitely smaller school. Yeah, just smaller. But I would
Smaller
s-
team,
Yes,
a little bit less structure,
definitely less structure.
doing more workouts on your own.
Everything track was very solo, which was hard, and why I had to turn to Liz.
They don't have a
freshman year.
track at
Oh,
all
yeah.
at the school.
So that was, there were definitely a lot of downsides to it. But I feel like overall, you knew the high school coach there pretty well. And
Yeah,
so
we were in
kind of
touch. Yeah.
communication.
He was pretty okay with us kind of like running with
Mhm.
the workouts.
pretty-
That was
Yeah.
kind of
Everything
how
was
that
solo
scenario
too,
went.
So I
Yeah.
like, he was okay with it. It didn't really impact the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And then moving to Marvin, we had a really, I would say, really good assistant coach who was very receptive, and they weren't really in communication, but they could kind of, Liz would recommend what she thinks I should do, and then I could communicate that to the high school coach, and she was always really willing to listen. So I think overall, it's been pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Because in the end, everyone wants the best
Right.
for the athlete and the team, and I think no one knows what that is better than Coach Liz, even myself. So
Yeah.
I would say it was pretty smooth.
And I feel like, yeah, I feel like you're in really good hands right now. So that's
Yes.
like a great team of people to run with and people to push our workouts, and
More competitive environment.
our workouts have been, yeah, overall really well. I haven't had to, yeah, I don't, there's not been a lot of things that I've seen that I would disagree with as, I guess, helpful too, which would be very different in every situation because that's not the case. But overall, I feel like it's been a really great overall well-run program for you there. So that's probably also why you have Thrive this year.
Have you ever had an athlete that was? not a much trickier
I mean,
situation?
I feel like there's always something, right?
There's
It's
always
like
something.
you guys should do some strength training, or you shouldn't do sprints like 3 times a week if you're trying to run the 2 mile, like maybe do some threshold running. Like, so there's kind of always something. But then I do think that there are like some thriving high school programs that have great coaches and great teams year and after year. And maybe the issue there is like, it's just a really big team and they don't get like any one-on-one coaching in terms of race strategy and that kind of thing. So it's like, maybe the program looks pretty good from what I see on paper, but it's like, there are some other needs that they might have too, So I feel like there's always a way you can help, but sometimes it's more obvious than others.
Well, this is maybe a similar-ish question, but I know mom is sitting right here, but I would ask this if she wasn't here too, so I'll ask it with her here. Like when I imagine in my head someone coaching a high school athlete, I imagine sometimes parents getting involved and meddling to some extent, because that's the reputation that parents have when they have a gifted athlete child. How does the relationship work, with
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like
with-
this current one is like honestly best case scenario, and I'm not even saying that because she's here. She's like honestly it works so smoothly. Sometimes it's not as smooth, but for this one, I would say like what's helpful for me, I feel like, is to have a primary relationship with the kid. Whoever I'm coaching is the athlete. We do most of the communicating about everything. And that's, I think, how most parents handle it in high school, because they're trying to let their kids learn how to grow up and like handle communication. But then if there's things like, the big challenge is that it's different when I was always the coach that was present at every race, when you're there at practice every day and seeing what they're doing and seeing all their races. It's like, I'm not there watching Galen race and watching her at practice. So that's where her mom or family can be like the set of eyes, like, and call me after the race. Like, here's what she looked like. Here's what's going on. Like, and it's been so helpful. And I feel like that's where Lindsay has stepped in a bit. And I don't know if there's just like a big picture, kind of like, here's where we feel like frustrated and we don't totally understand at the end of a season. So I feel like parents can add insight if you're not getting everything from the kid because you're not seeing them as much in person. As I would normally with when I was a college coach, you see them every day. But I know that's the case with like most of the other athletes we're coaching is you're not seeing them in person all the time. So it's like the communication is just, Caitlin's been great about communicating. She's really good on the apps. So it's like she puts comments in the notes, and so I can always kind of see what's going on. And then it's kind of like Lindsay has filled in with extra stuff, or like, tell me when I need to take her to the doctor to like, do we need to run a panel on seeing if her health is, or iron's right and whatever else is going on, or the nutritionist, good idea. Let's call the nutritionist and set that appointment up, So, and then I feel like this past year, the big focus has been on the college stuff. So I think that the life coaching and like the outside aspects of coaching, we've connected a lot on the phone about just that whole process. So that was a big connection point with you and your mom, just trying to like navigate the recruiting world and what does that look like and what does this mean when they're saying this, and it's confusing. So having coached in college and also been recruited when I was in high school, I was able to kind of just offer some 2 cents, not like I could give them all the answers, but just offer other perspective as they're walking through that process. So clearly I didn't do a good job since she's going to Carolina. I don't know how that happened. Just kidding. I'm really happy for her. Whatever.
When did you commit? How long ago and how hard was
They need to know what to do.
Right.
So, like, they don't understand your eye rolling.
So I went to Duke, and now she's going to Carolina. She's gonna like break all the ACC records, and yeah, it's fine.
I did love Duke, though.
She did love
That
Duke.
made it
When did you? How long ago did you commit?
I committed beginning of May. So May
Beginning of
2nd,
May.
I think.
So it's pretty recent,
Mhm.
somewhat recent.
Yes.
And how hard was the decision?
People like told me throughout, like, you'll know the school, like when you visit. And I wouldn't say I knew on the visit, but like looking at all the options, I think there was definitely a clear kind of one that I was like, okay, this is where I know I want to go. So I was fortunate to like have that feeling because I didn't trust people when they said you're gonna like, how are you just gonna know? Because there are tons of schools that I talked to, but I did know that Carolina was gonna be a good fit, and I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited.
Was there like a moment or a thing or a person who like turned it for you?
It was kind of just thinking of all the people, the campus, the girls on the team, kind of putting it all together. I think I was like, okay, all this together is a really great thing, a really great program. And I think it was just the combination of everything worked out really, really well.
And so you haven't started the season yet. Although I guess you're practicing already.
Yeah.
Practicing already. what is it like to, be competing for your high school and your senior year, but also knowing that you've got, this whole new experience waiting for you and it's predefined because you know where you're going, you know who you're going to be running forward with. Is it like, what kind of emotions do you feel when you think about that, even though it's still like a year away?
It's kind of weird to think about that. Like I haven't fully processed that I kind of know where I'm going after high school. I think I'm just kind of focused on finishing out senior year and haven't thought a ton about it. Like I love to cheer on the girls who are currently at Chapel. And I would say that's really my biggest connection to them right now. And so it still feels like I'm a bit of an outsider, like just cheering them on. But I'm obviously really excited to be part of them. And just right now, kind of focused on the season. I think breaking everything into smaller chunks always makes it more manageable. So just focused on this cross country season and wearing Carolina blue when I can, but also being Marvin.
Did you I know you didn't have any say in this decision, but
I tried.
what was your number one piece of advice for, her when thinking about, when she was in the process of trying to?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like just like the feel, like you've talked about, like I wanted her to have that feeling of like, I feel good about this with the coaches and the kids on the team and just the campus overall, just to have that, like, because I felt that way when I committed and had the great experience. And I feel like I just wanted that for her. So we talked a lot about, the coaches, you never know who's going to be there and leaving. It's like a constantly rotating world of coaching. So we love I know the current coach at Carolina. He was in the coaching circles when I was coaching and is a really good guy and a good coach. So we both felt great about that aspect of it. And then, just having her be kind of around people who are going to be able to push her and develop her to the level that we know she can. Honestly, she could be running the Olympic trials in the steeplechase sometime in the near future. So as long as there's someone there who can kind of like see that and grow it in her, I think that was a big priority we talked a lot about that she could have found in a few different places. But as long as that was there and that she liked the campus and the school overall. Someone always told me when I was looking at colleges, you want to make sure that where you end up is where you'll be happy. If you get injured your freshman year and can never compete again, it's like you don't want to just decide this is where I'm going to school because of running alone, because it's a lot of pressure to put on that. So kind of finding something that's a big picture fit also, I think that was a piece of advice someone gave me and I think is good to pass along too. Yeah.
She's going to break all your records and she's going to get an NIL deal.
No, seriously. I know.
I'll sit this is that's not coming out like right.
There we go.
Your eyes?
No.
You guys have it?
You're good.
That's very this is kind of, I guess we talked about this already, but going back to the idea of pressure, right? Now people know you're not everybody, but people within your world who maybe are competitive with you, and maybe some of them have scholarships of their, maybe it's of their own, but you've got a new target on your back, right? And because you're committed to go run for a great program like Carolina, again, do you feel like a little bit of an extra weight going into the season, or am I just bringing up something?
It's like an added pressure, but also one taken off.
I was
Because-
just thinking that when he was saying that.
Just committing and knowing that the Chapel coach, no matter what I run, that he believes that I can be part of the program and be a helpful part there. So I want to run well, obviously, to represent him well and his belief in me, but also just kind of be excited that I know where I'm going and just kind of run a little more free. I already kind of know where I'm going and I want to represent them as well as I can in high school. But in the end, I am still in high school right now. So I'll have plenty of years to wear the Carolina blue. But right now, just running for Marvin. And that's all I can do.
I feel like that's a big pressure of junior year, honestly, almost more so. I don't know if that's kind of what you're almost saying, but that was my experience. I feel like I've seen that in kids I even recruited when I was college coaching, just the junior year recruiting it's just a lot of pressure when you're actively talking to the coaches, doing all the official visits, trying to figure out scholarship dollars. And it's like, that's where a lot of the pressure lies, is like every race, it's like, I'm communicating with my coach, what's going on. And now he's going to think I'm bad. And I'm not, it's just like a lot of that. And once it's kind of decided and behind you, it's kind of like, you're a little bit free to just just go enjoy your senior year now, like you said, knowing that you've got a great spot that you've landed and you don't have to be like stressing about every single race. It's just, you have a great coach who believes in you. You're going to be going in good hands and you can just go like enjoy your senior year and think about high school a little bit more so than you probably did last year. I almost feel like it might be like the reverse of what you're thinking. Like now you're committed, there's pressure on you. It's like almost the opposite of like, yeah, a little bit. But then you have your last year of senior year. I mean, then it's also your last year of high school and there's all these things you want to accomplish. So yes, I mean, it's not like it's gone, but that's another perspective on it.
So maybe this is a stupid question, but like, you finish this first senior year, what does the relationship look like?
What's funny, and this is funny, I know. It's like there was another girl that I started coaching in high school who lived in Washington State during COVID years, didn't have any, they were like not even practicing at all. She ended up going, I coached her for years in high school, basically all of high school. She ended up going to the Air Force Academy. She did very well there.
16
And she
low.
has now, low 16, 10 in the 5K or something. Yeah, their team did well.
And she started in 1930, not 17.
Yeah, she got a lot better.
Just gonna be in the 14s.
Yeah.
Seriously. But she just reached out like a few months ago and I'm coaching her again because she's wanting to train for the Olympic marathon or the Olympic trials in the half marathon. No, the marathon. Sorry. She's doing the Olympic trial marathon, but she's starting with half marathons because she's taken a little time off. But she's now actually in Germany and stationed over there because she has to do her time for the Air Force. But anyway, so I was pretty hands off in college. We would like text and, get updates on how our races were going. And I followed her in all the social media stuff. So I kind of like knew what was going on all the time. But yeah, it was definitely like you're in your college coach's hands now, and I'm not going to be like messing with any of that. So I would expect that would be similar. And the good thing is she's only 2 hours away and I do go to Durham a lot. So I am hoping maybe I could go watch some races and be more involved in like supporting all of that. But yeah, you're going to be in great hands in college and they have so much support and all the things. So I will always be a phone call away if you need me. But I don't anticipate that you would be needing me to write your speaking. But no.
Is that hard? Like, is that one of your least favorite parts of doing this?
It's funny.
The combine, or is it one of the best parts? Is that you're like you're
I know.
You're setting them.
Yeah. It's kind of like a happy thing for me. Yeah.
Like the full 4 years, full circle.
Yeah, it was like all of your high school. Exactly. It's not like I just started working with you and then you're like leaving me. Yeah, it's true. I feel like it's kind of one of the reasons why I like working with high school kids is to like get them set up well for college, because that was my experience in high school and college. And it gives me joy to do that for other kids. It's like whether that's a large scholarship somewhere or going to a small D3 school that's a good fit for them. Like it doesn't matter like what level of prestige it is. It's just like I enjoy coaching kids to find their potential and get to somewhere that's like going to be a good fit for them and have a positive running experience in college, because being a part of a team is fun. It's like a really unique experience that you get to have. I loved mine. I'm still like best friends with half of my team from college, still close with my coach in college. So it's like, I kind of just, that's how I know Kelly. That's like literally why I'm in Charlotte and have my husband is from college sports. So it's done a lot for me, and makes me happy to set kids up to hopefully have that same experience. It's like definitely just a passion, I feel like. So yeah, I'm not sad. I'll be happy. It's like so happy to get texts from you in Carolina Blue, doing great things. Hopefully watching you in the Olympic trials. I can fly out there to watch that one day. That would be super fun. But yeah, it's a happy thing. And it's not like I see her, but it's like I don't see her I don't get to watch her race, every day and see her practice every day. So that part is, well, she'll just be sending me texts in different color uniforms. I hope. Yeah.
Is there, which I'm spot with, is there like one piece of advice or one lesson that you know that you'll take with you to college or into your senior year?
Yeah. I think it's the kind of taking things in small chunks. Honestly, the kind of reflecting and looking at the big picture of everything. I know she said that a couple times. And just seeing all of it and then narrowing it down at the same time. So it's like you have each race and you pick one thing from that to learn in the next one. And then at the end of the season, you kind of look back at the full picture of everything and kind of how you progressed and how you took each little chunk and added them together to make something special happen. And so I think kind of that perspective I'm going to definitely keep and carry with me.
I did look at my watch. I thought we've been talking for like 30 minutes. 7:54.
Wow.
I know Kelly. Sure, Kelly. Has a question.
sure have
Is
lots
it,
of
or
questions.
anybody have questions?
Great job.
How the steeplechase, like, how did that come up? Because that's not.
That is a great question.
Excellent.
And she is an unusual answer to this. So.
I did the 300 hurdles in middle school. So I'm kind of a try everything, did all the sports. I've done all the events from the 400 hurdles to the 2 mile event. But I'm not a 300 hurdler, not fast enough, and kind of do that. So going to high school, I heard about the steeplechase, and so I knew kind of wanted to do that. It's like a distance hurdle race. It's really weird, but it is a lot of fun. So highly recommend.
And she still does. Like she ran at nationals in outdoor track, the 400 hurdles
I did the 400
at
hurdles,
nationals
steeplechase, and
in high
800.
school. And she's like a distance runner. You do not ever see a distance runner running the 400 hurdles at the national meet. Also, did you win state? No, second at state in the 300 hurdles.
Yes,
coming in
sophomore year. Yeah.
Yeah. Did very well in the 3 like short sprint hurdles as a
I
distance
walked for
runner.
the first
Very
time at
unusual.
nationals in the 400 hurdles. But
So that's going to help her for the steeplechase. Yeah.
How do you practice it? Because Marvin doesn't have it.
yeah, most high school tracks don't have the water jump to practice. So I'll just do some hurdle drills. So 300 hurdles is perfect for like, is the same hurdle height as a steeple. So just get some confidence of going over them. And then the water jump, we'll go out to Johnson C. Smith uptown and do a couple water jump simulations in the grass just to jump on the barrier. But it's kind of, you can't really simulate it. You have to use jump. Like you.
That'll get better in college. She'll have a lot more actual practice in college with coaches that have more like
For the water jump
stuff there.
jump 2 feet in and
Yeah.
just go. But it is a really fun event. It's definitely my favorite.
So did you know your paces that you're doing for your 2K is the same as like the 3K collegiate, like NCAA top girls? So I know they're running a 1K more than you, but I think that's pretty neat that as a junior, your pace is already the same as like the top girls in college.
I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, it is. I looked
that
it
is kinda
up
cool.
and I was, yeah. So I think that's neat. Like you just have to get a little bit more endurance, hold that pace, and you're going to be
Yeah.
at the top of the college. I mean, when I went to watch, your first practice with Liz, and I was so impressed. Like, I'm going to say it right here. Like, she has potential to make the Olympic team someday in the steeple. Like, she really does. And I know that's a long way off, but I mean, you're such a well-rounded athlete in the head. That's very important. Like, you need to have the right mindset, and you have that. You know how to take care of yourself, and then you also know how to just have fun. Like, you can release a race pretty quickly, no matter if it went well or didn't go well. And I think that's a very important quality for an athlete to have, to just have long-term focus, but like short-term memory. You move on and then you go on to the next thing, you do the work. And, so I think that is one of the, like, you're obviously very physically talented, but I think the gift that you have outside of your actual athleticism is really what's going to take you very far. So, but my question that I have is, like, what's the hardest lesson that you've had to learn so far in your high school career?
I think the hardest lesson is that bad races are sometimes the most helpful races, and just kind of accepting, like, even when you don't race well, that can sometimes be a good thing because it shows where your biggest weaknesses are. And no one likes having a bad race, I hate bad races. But that's where you identify any training weaknesses or where you're not feeling enough. Sleep, usually pretty good, but any stresses, like Liz was saying. So I think just accepting that bad races are kind of inevitable and just not getting defeated by them too much. Like disappointment can sometimes fuel the fire a little bit, but I think they also just reveal really what you need to work on more so than good races because you're just like, it's a good race, perfect, keep doing it. But yeah, I think bad races are what you need. Sadly.
Coming to grips with that reality.
All age groups.
Yeah. Relevant to everyone.
This is good media training for you for college.
Oh, it is.
Actually, Miles splits part right. How did it make you feel to hear Kelly say, "All you gotta do is run my face"?
I know that was cool. She was the one who told me freshman year that what I'd run was a national freshman record. So Kelly's on top of it.
Got the stats.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just a 1K. It's only 2.5 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were like holding it back a little bit in your last at the national meet.
I think so.
You were comfortable.
Steeple's one of those where when it feels good, it's like
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
And when it feels
Yes.
bad, it's
Yes.
really
Yeah.
bad.
So true.
But that one felt good, so that was fun.
Any questions?
Well, I'm thrilled. She's never enjoyed track until this year. And so I think that was in part coaching, being part of like a team with a track, so first year on a track too for practice.
Mhm.
So Caitlin, tell us about why you like track, why you didn't like it.
Not having a track was definitely kind of a negative just because you never got to like feel it. And so it was kind of weird going on to one. And then being on Marvin's team, I have a really, really good running group. So I have a ton of fun. It's like a group of sophomore guys. And it's kind of motley crew, but we have a lot of fun together. And it's just low pressure. And I would say we're the enviable group on the track. Everyone's always like, that group's having the most fun and still getting a good workout in. So I think that's really cool. And New Balance Nationals, we did 2 relays, and that was the most fun I think I've ever had. That might have even been more fun than the Steeple National Championship. If like just being with the team, we got 6th in DMR, and top 6 is All American.
It's amazing.
So that was like one of the best things ever.
Yeah, that's so huge.
And then we did the mixed 4x4 also. And we got 4th in that.
That's so great.
It was just a combination of sprinters, guys, girls, and that was probably the most fun I've ever had.
Would you split the 4?
56-3. So not too
Nice.
shabby for a distance runner.
That's when I first was like, whoa, okay, she's a way faster than I thought she was.
He was like, you need to do the 2 mile. Like,
Yeah, we're headed the 2 mile direction. And I'm like, maybe we can reassess. She's definitely surprised me with the speed. So a good thing for you.
2 miles a lot.
So there wasn't a track.
No.
False.
Yeah.
They don't have the
And
space
so-
for it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they heard they're building.
And she went to the Calpine a lot. I mean, she made it work. I mean, it's no, I understand why the school
Right.
wants to have it, but it definitely.
Hurdle work.
You just have to run on track.
We'd go onto other people's tracks.
Oh,
Yes. And I did come to run class a bunch. That was good.
Well, this was amazing. Thank you both for doing it.
yeah.
Good luck. Nice meeting. I think that's it for you to listen to.
Okay.
And I would only wear it from you. Yeah, I would wear it for you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Good media
Thank
training.
you.